Hey everyone. Hey. So let's talk about the weakest link in our community. Now, this is going to be a Black American specific video. I love all of my subscribers. I love all of you who engage and comment like my videos, but we're going to have a conversation about the Black American community. And the weakest link in the Black American community, we all know who they are. They're Black men. All right. Now, the reason why I'm making this video is because I really wanted a chance to present facts and some data that a lot of people love to just ignore and brush under the rug. And another reason why I'm making this video is because I made a video a couple of weeks ago, and the thumbnail was like of a little kid with a cape, like a Superman superhero outfit on, and the message of the video was just like, Black women, stop supporting, stop saving, stop helping men who don't do the same thing for you, right? That was the whole point of the video. Someone took that video, made a reaction video to it. It was a Black man saying that, oh, I was racist and I'm trying to drive a wedge into the Black community and da. Like, okay, I'm trying to drive a wedge because I am talking about some of the dysfunction in the community. I'm trying to drive a wedge into the community because I'm trying to hold Black men accountable. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous logic. The thing is, the same people that will say something like, oh, you're just creating division, you're just putting a wedge in our community, they don't say anything when you bring up this, when you show them something like this. Here's a white woman using a racial epithet, using the worst one, saying that she loves N-word DICK. Period. But where are the Black men? Where are the Black men when white women do this? And then Black men go under the video. Go under the post and then say stuff like this. Okay? You have Black men cheering this white woman on. But I'm trying to drive a wedge in the community. I'm trying to create division. I'm the racist, right? You know, a lot of these Black men will take my videos and call me racist. They'll call me, a problem. They'll say, oh, I'm lying. I will present some facts in this video, but just understand, you have white women saying they love the N-word DICK right here. You have white women proclaiming, you have white women doing this, okay? You have white women making tweets like this. And then what's even worse is you have Black men cheering her on. You have a Black man here. He says, and I love a girl who ain't afraid to say it. And you have another Black man here that says, we love you. And another Black man said, yes, finally. And another Black man saying, yes, say it loud and proud. But apparently I'm the problem. Apparently they're not the weakest link. And you have more Black men fawning over this girl who just used a racial slur and fetishized Black men's sexuality. And you have other Black men cheering this white woman on who just used a racial slur and fetishized Black sexuality. You have Black men cheering this white woman on, but apparently Black women like me are the problem because we hold Black men accountable for their actions or lack thereof. Look, even more Black men. Look, even more right here. We have even more Black men cheering this white woman on, saying, I think I'm falling in love. Dirty girl. This BBC daddy love you as well. They saying, I love you, white girl. Even though you just use the racial slur to describe me, and even though you just fetishize my sexuality, we love you. And another one says at the bottom, well, you finally say it, not afraid anymore of saying the word. Good. So they are encouraging these white women to use racial slurs towards them in their sexuality. Okay, now let's get into some of these facts. Hey BC, hey girl, hey BC girl. Now, today I read a report from the Brookings Institute, which is a think tank located in Washington, D.C. Think tanks usually are spots or just like hubs for brainstorming and kind of creating solutions or proposals for solutions for our most overwhelming problems in society. Okay, I live in the DMV area. I live close to DC. So I would go, before the pandemic, I would actually go to the Brookings Institute and like sit into some of their talks. And you have intellectuals from all around the world visiting. You have visiting scholars, you have professors, you have politicians, you have a wide range of professionals who come and they will brainstorm and think and collaborate to come up with proposals to some of the pressing problems in the world. And one of the problems that the Brookings Institute addresses quite often is Black poverty in America. All right. And there was an article, I'm going to show you this now. Okay, this is the article. Let me show you. It says here, the inheritance of Black poverty. It's all about the men. Okay, it's all about the men. We have reports backed by data from large research institutions confirming what Black women have been saying for a very long time. The weakest link are Black men. The weakest link is not the group of Black women, it's the group of Black men. Now, in the article, let me see. They talk about upward mobility, right? So I'll just read the first sentence. It says, Black Americans born poor are much less likely to move up the income ladder than those in other racial groups, especially whites. But why? Many factors are at work, including educational inequalities, neighborhood effects, workplace discrimination, parenting, access to credit, rates of incarceration, and so on. Okay. Now they talk about two types of upward mobility. And upward mobility is a person's ability to move up the socioeconomic ladder. Okay. So you can go from straight up living in abject poverty to maybe being low income to maybe being like lower middle class to being middle class to being upper middle class to being rich, right? Now, this report shows that other groups, other races of people in America have a much easier time moving up this ladder, right? And, that's a part of the American dream, right? When we think about the American dream, when we think about what people say America stands for opportunity. It represents a place where people can start from nothing and make something of themselves and move up. But this isn't the case a lot of the times for Black people, because there's two main ways, right? You can do that through your own individual income, through your, career, through maybe starting a business. You can gain wealth like that. But a lot of times people will also gain wealth through marriage, especially women. There was an article. No, just look this up. People love to tell me, yeah, you're not talking facts. I mean, the last video I made, someone was like, you're lying when you say 80% of Black women provide. And then he was like, post 5 articles. And I posted 5 articles because I don't just pull the stuff out of my behind, right? Like I read before I make these videos. So look this up, okay? Just look it up for yourself, all right? Oh, let me see. Klerk Trent says, Black poverty. I have to disagree. The study is slanted. Other races didn't go through the oppression Black women went through. But here's the thing. Great point. Excellent. I'll address this. Other races don't go through the oppression Black men went through. Black women go through worse oppression than Black men, but Black women are starting businesses faster than any other group of people. Look this up. It was on Fast Company, and an article on Fast Company shows that women of color, Black women, are the number one demographic for new entrepreneurs. They're starting businesses faster. They're the most educated. Oh, right here. So Pareto principle says Black women have the most student loan debt. They're the most educated. Okay. Oh, but that's right. Royal 1993. Thank you for reminding me. Oh my gosh, I got off track. So the number one women, see, these comments get me off track. The number one way women get rich is through marrying, right? Royal 1993 says you can get status by just marrying a rich man. Yes, absolutely. And a lot of white women, a lot of Asian women, a lot of Latino women will do this. Black women, on the other hand, because Black men do worse than Black women across the board, education-wise, career-wise, entrepreneurship-wise. I mean, Black men do worse than Black women across these metrics. They graduate at lower rates from higher education, from higher education programs. They definitely don't graduate from graduate or professional school programs at the same rate as Black women do. They don't start businesses at the same rate that Black women do. They don't excel in corporate America the same rate as Black women do. Okay? Now, let me read this to you. So to show you why Black men are the weakest link. So they talk about all these different factors, right? They talk about, okay, oh, wait, let me show you. There was a Black woman, one of the different activities. Okay, here we go. This is where it gets important. So I'll zoom this in for y'all. Okay. It says here, right here, read this. Brookings Institute, a report. In terms of their individual earnings, Black women have similar odds of escaping poverty as white women, though both these groups lag behind the upward mobility of white men. These analyses don't consider the income of other family members, however. What happens when we look instead at adult family income as opposed to individual earnings, a very different picture emerges for Black Americans. Okay, so now let me just make this point. When it comes to individual income, so when Black women do it by themselves, when they go out and get jobs, when they get educated by themselves, they have a higher chance of escaping poverty than if they went the route that a lot of women will go. And that route is marrying into money. That route is to marrying into wealth, becoming wealthy through marriage. A lot of Black women in America do not have this this like other groups of women do. Okay. So this is this is important to discuss because there's a lot of rhetoric, right, in the Black community, like, oh, that's why these Black women are single. That's why these Black women are going to die alone. In another one of my videos, I show you that a lot of older women don't even want to live with a man because that's how much of a burden they are. Just that, like, regardless of race, like, men expect women to do all this domestic labor for free. And a lot of older women, 65 and up, they would rather die alone to deal with men, okay, than to have a man in their home. That's on the side. Oh, that's one thing. So Black men will sit here and say, oh, Black women are going to die alone and they're just single. They're single. That's why they're single. But it shows that when a Black woman is single, she does better. That's how little Black men are adding value to the lives of Black women. That's how little value Black men are adding to the lives of Black women. When you have data backing the fact that Black women do just fine with achieving upward mobility, with escaping poverty by themselves. But when you look at the data of when it comes to marrying a Black man, a lot of times these Black men will hold Black women down. So people love to say, oh, Black women are single, but Black women are doing much better single. So if you ever hear a Black man shame you for being single, like Kevin Samuels, like he did that one woman, right? She was a 6-figure woman. And Kevin Samuels was telling her, oh, you're going to die alone because your standards are too high. No one wants you. You're average looking. She's better off being single as a 6-figure earner than to have a man who makes less than her, bringing her down, sucking up her money and her resources and bringing the average family income down. Okay. So Black women, don't let these men shame you into being single. The more we reject these men who do not protect and provide, the more likely they are to change their own behavior. This video and a lot of my videos are meant to hold Black men accountable, not to sit here and be like, oh, we're making excuses like this, like Klerk Trent right here when he says other races didn't go through the oppression Black women went through, but Black women went through worse than Black men. Black women went through worse than Black men. Black women went through worse than black men, and black women are doing better than black men. So there's no excuse. So you want to compare black men to everyone else, but compare black men to black women. Black women have had it worse than black men. I'm going to say this again because y'all don't hear me. You want to make these excuses for black men. You want to say, oh, black men went through a whole bunch of oppression. Black women went through worse oppression. Black women went through worse oppression. But they're doing better. So as a community, we have to stop. We absolutely have to stop giving excuses for black men. Like, we have to stop giving them these. And this is, I mean, like, look, I mean, Klerk Trent saying, no, they didn't. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? They didn't. They have to face sexism and racism. That's double the oppression. A black woman has to deal with the obstacles of both sexism and racism, not separately, but intertwined. Black women have had it much worse than black men. Black women have had it much worse than black men. And you're still trying to make excuses. You're still trying to make you're still trying to make excuses. No, it's not a competition. It is about holding accountability. It's about holding these black men accountable, because black women have faced more oppression. Black women have faced more oppression, but they do better. They perform better. They move up the socioeconomic ladder better and more frequently. How did black men go through far worse when they didn't have sexism to deal with as well? When they lynched black women as well? Go look up the black woman who was lynched while pregnant, and when she was lynched, she had her belly ripped open and the baby fell out of it. So don't tell me black men had it worse. No, they didn't. They're not as vulnerable because they're not women. Real 1993 says black people are considered to marry early due to being in a low socioeconomic background. So they marry for love, yet these poor women always put their lives at risk. And that's just programming, like, Shira says this all the time, right? I'm a big Shira fan. And Shira talks about how marrying for love is for the poor, right? Rich people, people who have assets, people who have money, they have many more reasons to marry than just for a fleeting emotion. Love isn't something that lasts, like it's, you can grow in love, but infatuation, that type of love, like the infatuation phase love, doesn't last. It's just there to get you to procreate. Okay, so Klerk Trent is still making excuses for black men. So this is what we need to fight against. Like, black men like this who will not acknowledge that black women have had it worse because they deal with both sexism and racism. We have to rebuke black men like Klerk Trent. We really do, because they're making all these excuses, and then you wonder why, as a community, we lag behind, and the weakest link are black men. Like, Klerk Trent is showing everyone that they really are the weakest link. So Certain Exposures says another interesting report to look at is the Federal Reserve data on odds of becoming a millionaire by race and educational attainment. This report you're showing provides interesting context. It really does. It provides the context that we don't really talk about, right? Like, we don't talk about gender enough. We don't talk about marriage enough in our community. We don't talk about the specific positionality that black men have and that black women have, right? And it's, so let me get back into it. Okay. So thank you, Certain Exposures. Thank you so much for, hold on 1 second. Let me just close this window. It's getting cold. Ugh. Okay. So Certain Exposures. Great. Thank you so much for bringing up this point. Unfortunately, I've seen data suggesting that we also fail to maintain wealth in subsequent generations. Therefore, it's harder for us to develop old money. Absolutely. We have a huge consumerism culture, and we don't we don't practice group economics as well as other groups. So think about the Jewish community, right? The Jewish community, I've heard, don't quote me on this, but the number, I'm not going to say the number because I don't know the exact number. I'll go look it up later. But if you go look up Dr. Claude Anderson, he talks a lot about this. In the Jewish community, the Jewish dollar will circulate in their communities many, many times. Let's just, for a reference number, let's just say 10 times. The dollar in the Jewish community will circulate 10 times. In the Black community, it doesn't even circulate once. The money that we touch, it goes straight to another group. Like those Asian people that come and set up hair shops. This is, and we take our money and we give it to other groups of people, but we don't invest in our community. We don't buy Black. Like I make sure when I buy, this is why I'm always talking about the lip bar. It's a Black owned business, Black American owned business. I'm like, yo, everyone buy Black. If you need to buy makeup, buy this. If you need to buy, hair products, buy from a Black owned business. At least the dollar can circulate multiple times, right? But also you have a lot of Black men who try very, very hard to date non-Black women. And when you date a non-Black woman, courting is expensive. Courting a woman is expensive. You have these Black men spending, thousands, tens of thousands of dollars on non-Black women, but they won't spend it on Black women. And that also takes the money straight out of our community. Another reason why Black men are the weakest link. Black men date out and marry out higher than Black women. And as the man, as the person that typically is the protector and the provider and the breadwinner, that money, you're taking that money out of the Black community and you're putting it into another community. Ridiculous. So Klerk Trent is also, he continues to make excuses. So are you building a strong Black family? Where's your strong Black family? Since you make more money than everyone in this chat, and I highly doubt that. I highly doubt you have more than me. But go ahead. Where's your strong Black family? What are you doing to build a strong Black family? What are you doing to not destroy a strong Black family? What are you doing to build a strong Black family? What are you doing? What are you doing, Klerk Trent? What are you doing? What is your part? Okay, but anyway, so it says here, Black women have similar odds of escaping poverty as white women through their own individual efforts, like through their income, okay? But then it says, Black women face a very high risk of being stuck in poverty, 62%, surpassing the 50% risk faced by Black men. The whites, it says for whites, the odds of remaining stuck in poverty remain relatively low, for men 28% and for women 33%, when we use a family income measure, okay? Okay, and this is also interesting. The headline finding here is that among those who grew up poor, Black women are the only group showing a marked difference between the risk of being in the bottom quintile of the individual earnings distribution and the risk of being in the bottom quintile of the family income distribution. There's difference. So there's individual earnings and then there's family income, okay? It says whites do well on both counts. So whites do well with individual earnings and they do well with family income. And it says here, Black men do poorly on both counts. Black men do poorly on the individual earnings and the family income. It says here, now listen, please look at this. Let me make this big for everyone to see. Black women do reasonably well on the first and poorly on the second. So it's showing us that Black women do well with the individual earnings. You have Black women as a demographic are some of the most educated people in America. They are currently the number one demographic who are starting businesses faster than anyone and everyone else, any other demographic, right? So they do well with the individual earnings. They don't do as well. They do poorly, it says. It says they do poorly on the second, and the second is family income. You know why? You know why Black women do well with individual earnings and they don't do well with family income? Black women don't do well when it comes to family income because Black women tend to marry Black men. And since Black men are the weakest link, Black men do poorly with family income and individual earnings. These Black men drag these Black women down, dragging the average of the family income down. But here's the thing. You're saying, Klerk Trent, you says, why do you think that is? You can't give stats without giving the cause. We all know where this started, Klerk Trent. We all know slavery is the origin of these problems, right? But I encourage you, Klerk Trent, to answer this question. Why is it that Black women can do well by themselves, but Black men can't? How is that? How? Why is it that Black women have excelled in education, in career, in entrepreneurship, but Black men have not? Why? Now that is something Black men need to look at themselves and stop looking around and blaming everyone else. If Black women can achieve this craziness, these are crazy accomplishments. Like, to think about what Black women have gone through, to think about the sexism and the racism that Black women have to face, and when they still accomplish this, while Black men only have to face the racism and not even the sexism, but they can't accomplish half of what Black women have accomplished. You need to ask yourself why. Black men need to look at themselves and ask themselves, why is it like this? Why can't Black men achieve as much as Black women when they don't have sexism and racism to face like Black women do? Black men only have to face racism. So you keep saying, why? You keep saying, but we have the same issues. We have more as women. We have more oppression to deal with as women, but we're still doing better than you. So compare yourself to Black women. Don't compare yourself to white men. Don't compare yourself to Asian men. Compare yourself with the people who have gone through the similar historical experience and have the same historical context as you. Okay? It's just like in a luxury community says Black men need women to build with them. Absolutely. Listen, compare yourself to Black women. Ask yourself, why can't Black men do as well as Black women? Listen, and then Jerry Davis says, well, let's all thank those single Black successful Black women for building such a strong Black community. Listen, even in the Black Lives Matter protest, do you remember? Hold on, let me see if I can pull something up for you guys. In the Black Lives Matter protest, right? Let's see, Black Lives Matter. Okay, let me protest. Okay, now let me just show you guys something. Show you guys. Okay. Now, please, everyone, please, I beg of you. I beg you. First couple pictures. Who do you see protesting? Who do you see fighting for the lives of Black men? Who do you see? Who do you see in these pictures? Who do you see in these pictures? Do you see Black men fighting for Black lives? Who's in these pictures? Look at this. Look at this. Look at this picture. Overwhelmingly Black women. You see some Black men. Some Black men are up in these pictures. Some. But not as many as Black men. Oh, here's a Black man. But most of them are women. Most of these protesters are women. Look at this. So it's like, Black men, you're not doing your part, man. You're really not. It's like you're not doing enough. And it's like you have these women out here having to play the male role because the men are not doing it. Who's getting killed? Black women get killed by police too, but you don't hear about it. I encourage everyone to look at the video, the TED Talk from Kimberly Crenshaw. I actually met Kimberly Crenshaw. She's a lawyer, very renowned. She talks about intersectionality. She talks about how Black women have to face sexism and racism. And, you know, if you have to face double the oppression and you're doing much better than people who don't have to face double the oppression, what is the excuse for Black men? So Pareto Principle, thank you for the super chat. He says Black women pursue the seven out of the 10 lowest paying degrees. What are those degrees? Post the link. You know what? So let's pretend like the protests are equal. Let's pretend like the show out is equal, okay? Which I don't really believe. You think that Black women are not getting killed by the police as well? But they are. But here's the thing, Jerry Davis. In the article, it shows. Let me go back to the article. Let me go back to the think tank. Right here. It says, Black women do reasonably well on the first and poorly on the second. This result is probably driven by the fact that Black women tend to create families with Black men who do poorly on both counts and thus bring down the family income results for Black women. Straight up. It says it right here. Listen, and you're saying it's not a competition. We're literally telling y'all, stop bringing down Black women. And thank you, Certain Exposure. I mean, Certain Exposures, here's the thing I'm trying to promote. I'm trying to hold Black men accountable to get them to step up, right? And they don't want to step up. As you can see, Certain Exposures, all they want to do is blame oppression, which Black women have double serving of because they're women and have to face sexism and patriarchy, along with racism, right? They want to blame the women. They want to blame the white man. They want to blame oppression. They got excuses. They want to, I mean, it's like, they're not like, oh yeah, what can we do to be better? Okay. It's like, okay, but Klerk Trent, why can't y'all be warriors then? So if you are a target, why can't you defend yourselves? Every other man, every other men of their group, of their ethnic group, of their racial group, they are warriors. They will do whatever they can to build, to protect their families. Why don't Black men do this? Why don't they do this? Where are the Black warriors? Where are they? Where are the Black men starting companies to support the whole Black community? You have, and you're talking about, like, you know, you're talking about they'll give Black women an office job. Let me look, y'all just want me to just, okay, cool. All right. Women of color, fastest group of entrepreneurs. Okay. I'm going to show y'all this. Women of color are the fastest growing group of entrepreneurs, or they're starting businesses. So it's not even that. Hold on one second. Black women are starting businesses. Let me see what yeah, but anyway, we'll get back to certain exposures. Certain exposures, you're definitely telling the truth, man. Like, these men are not trying to be held accountable. They just want to talk about how they're targets. They want to talk about how they're just so oppressed. And, you know, we do acknowledge there is a lot of oppression. Absolutely. But if you look at what Black women have been able to do through the oppression, you know, there's no excuse for you. You know what I mean? Like, there's no excuse for you as to why you can't, you know, become the masculine protectors and providers of your community. Like, why don't you defend your community? Like, why don't you? I just like, what is the problem? See, in here, same thing, luxury queen. So luxury queen is saying, I want to see more strong, independent Black men supporting their families and stop relying on women to do all the work. Me too. But as you can see, a bunch of them are in the comments talking about, you know, they can't do it. They can't do it because they're oppressed. And we understand, yes, like, oppression does play a role. It does. But Black women are excelling. So you can't say that the oppression is the only thing stopping. I mean, you can't say it can stop you. Because if it can't stop Black women, why is it stopping Black men? If oppression isn't stopping Black women, why is it stopping Black men? Oppression is not stopping Black women. Black women are excelling. Look, women of color are starting businesses faster than anyone else. The newest state of women-owned businesses reports shows that minority female entrepreneurs generate $422.5 billion in revenue for the economy through their own businesses. So, you know, like, these people want to sit here and say, "Oh yeah, you're just getting an office job." A lot of these women are starting businesses. Okay? So Miss Johnson says, "Girl, you are wasting your time with these idiots. These are trolls in your chat." Yes, ma'am, I know. I'm gonna just ignore them now. But anyway, I don't even know why they're here. Anyway, I'm about done. But absolutely, Black men definitely are the weakest link. They need to hold themselves accountable. I mean, for example, even this, like, look, I'm gonna just show you some posts that I've seen on the internet. You have this man says facts. And this is a Black man. He says facts. We as Black men are the weakest link in the fight for equality and freedom in this country. Not to mention, we don't support our Black people whose sexuality identity is different from us, right? And then you have like a quote saying, between Breonna Taylor and Megan Thee Stallion, y'all are failing Black women left and right. Absolutely, they don't defend Black women. Well, how do you defend Black women, Klerk Trent? So he says self-defense fit. Well, how do you defend Black women? What are you doing to defend Black women? Because you're not defending Black. I'm a Black woman trying to hold Black men accountable, and you're, you know, making excuses as to why Black men can't step up. So how are you defending Black women? I mean, really, Boydie, I mean, you're speaking the truth. I mean, Boydie says a lot of Black men want the fruits that come with being masculine without the masculine effort. Absolutely. Absolutely. It's really just disgusting. I don't understand. But anyway, let me show you guys some more. Look, in here, and this is what I'm talking about as a warrior. Like, people are saying, you know, Klerk Trent sitting here talking about he's a warrior, right? Look, where's the comment? I want to post it up. Klerk Trent says, "I am a warrior." But then look at this. And you have another Black man coming on Facebook saying Black men are the weakest link. They are the weakest link. And it says here, "Do you think white folks would let Black cops come into their neighborhoods and terrorize them, shoot them for no reason, and beat their women while they all stood around recording it?" Klerk Trent, where you at? Where you at, Klerk Trent? Where they at? I mean, really, but answer this question. Why do y'all let white cops come into black communities hurting the women and children? It says right here, do you think white folks would let black cops come into their neighborhoods and terrorize them, shoot them for no reason, and beat their women while they all stood around and recording it? Can someone just answer this? Because we see this is happening. Why don't we see any black men armed patrolling the communities like they did in the 60s? Black women have a net worth of $5 on average. So if black women, or look, if black women have a net worth of $5, what is the net worth of black men? Pareto principle. What is the net worth of black men? Because according to the data, sorry, I'll get back to you, Pareto principle. This Miss Johnson says, a lot of these boys are happily subjugated, girl. That's why I'm selective with hashtags I support. Absolutely. Absolutely. So back to this question. So yeah, I saw that data as well. I saw those stats that the net worth, because they have so much student loan debt, right? Because black women have so much student loan debt, their net worth is on average $5. Now, what is the net worth of black men? Pareto principle, please show us. It's probably negative 100, right? Or straight up zero. If that, right? Because here we go right here. Black women do reasonably well on the first and fairly poor on the second. So black women do well on individual earnings, but poorly on family income. And it says this result is probably driven by the fact that black women tend to create families with black men who do poorly on both accounts and thus bring down the family income results for black women. So according to this data right here, one of the main reasons why black women have a net worth of $5 on average is because they allow black men to take down their net worth. Like, just read it right here. It's right here. Read it. Read it, guys. Brookings Institute. Read it. Black women tend to create families with black men who do poorly on both counts and thus bring down the family income results for black women. So if black women have a net worth of $5, we can partly thank black men for that. But anyway, thanks for the super. I can tell you my net worth is much higher than $5. I'll tell you that right now. If I told you my net worth, y'all would probably be shocked. Because my net worth is much higher than the average white person's net worth. I'll just say that. That's all I'm gonna say. All right. Come on. I mean, Pareto principle, come on, answer this question. I'm waiting for you, Pareto principle. I'm waiting for you. Because you're saying that black women have a net worth of $5. No one's going to address this. Like, literally, let me zoom it in because a lot of y'all acting crazy. A lot of y'all acting loco. Man, I have to do my flashcards. Come on, y'all. Help me. Somebody, come on, please. Help me. Help me answer the question. Y'all not listening. I want Pareto principle to come back. I want Klerk Trent to come back. Please help me address this right here. Read the highlight. Read the highlight, y'all, and address this. Hold on. I'll be right back. I gotta look for my flashcards. I don't know what. These flashcards are all getting messed up. 1 second. Somebody answer this question. Okay. Honey, if I blocked you, you wouldn't be able to comment in the chat. I didn't block you. YouTube will block links that if they think it's spam or breaking their community guidelines. It's 30K. Oh, can you please? Where are you going to send the link? I don't have links blocked. So Certain Exposures says it's important to look at numbers with zero emotion and accept uncomfortable truths. The best place for criticism is to come within the community. Right. Unfortunately, I see no quick solution. They're not trying to hear it from within the community. They're not trying to hear it. They don't want to take accountability. What is going on in this chat section? Boy T says white women made sure to make white. Oh, well, yeah, no. Boy, were you here yesterday in my live? Because you're stating exactly what I stated in my live yesterday. It says white men made sure to make white women the face of femininity by being providers. They understand the power of the traditional home dynamic and raising strong-minded children. Absolutely. I mean, it takes more than just one person to raise a child. And a lot of these black men, and it's like, just look up absent fathers in the black community, man. Just look that up. But they'll have it, look, I'm going to say absent fathers in the black community, right? I'm going to say that. Someone's going to comment, one of these men are going to comment, and they're going to say, no, that data is slanted. But when you look around, a lot of these black children don't have their fathers. How are you going to have a strong community? They're going to blame everybody but themselves for not staying to take care of their children. This is what I mean about accountability. I mean, especially when you have the men not wanting to take accountability, right? If the men don't see it as their job to protect and provide for their communities, like as a community, I mean, it's just like the more I look at the data, I mean, the thing is, can you provide data that counters this though? You know, somebody who was saying this. Okay, so Klerk Trent says, you do realize you must look at several studies, not just one. Absolutely. Absolutely, we're supposed to look at several studies. And I have several studies pulled up in the tabs that confirm, and I can show you. I mean, I've already pulled up, I've already showed you. I mean, yeah, I've showed you this article. Let me just go through all the articles, right? Because I have plenty of sources. The Atlantic in the business section, Black women supporting their families with few resources. Okay, let's go here. It says the importance of Black women's economic health in Black community is hard to overstate. That's in part because Black women tend to shoulder a lot of the household's financial burden. More than 80% of Black mothers are breadwinners in their household, only compared to 50% of white mothers. Okay. And it says here, the last sentence here, it says, and 3/4 of Black women who hold breadwinner status are doing so alone. Okay. So that's another source. Okay. So you want to talk about multiple sources. Let's talk about multiple sources, Klerk Trent. Okay. I have it all pulled up here. Fast Company, another article from Fast Company. The economic insecurity of Black breadwinner moms affects us all. All right. There are 16 million breadwinner moms in the US, and they support 28 million children. Of these 28 million children, 8 million or 29% belong to the households of Black breadwinner moms. So a larger percent of the children being supported by Black breadwinner mothers are present than the actual population, like Black population. They say Black Americans make up around 12 to 13% of the population, but 29% of Black children are being supported by Black breadwinner mothers. And here, if you are a Black child in America, you are more likely to grow up in a breadwinner mom household than not. I mean, here's the data. You know, y'all want to play with me and act like I'm not bringing up facts. You know, we have to look at several studies. Yes, indeed, we have to look at several studies. And here they are. Women as breadwinners, nothing new for Black folks. A recent Time headline proclaimed that women were the richer sex set to overtake men in the generation as financial breadwinners. The story indicates that over the course of the next 25 years, more American families were supported by women instead of men. Okay? That may be in part because the higher percentage of African American women are achieving college degrees. Here's another article from the Institute for Women's Policy Research. Breadwinner mothers by race and ethnicity. 2 in 4 mothers and 3 in 4 Black mothers. 3 in 4 Black mothers. That's 75%. 3 over 4, 75% of Black mothers are breadwinners for their families. This is from the Institute for Women's Policy Research. This is from the Institute for Women's Policy Research, y'all. You telling me I don't have sources. You're telling me that I don't have studies. You're telling me that I'm just using one study. But I've literally went through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 studies. I've showed you 6 studies. And then you have Purple Lover 77 says, I've seen that with my own sister, even though she was married. So this is my point. Purple Lover, girl. Now I'm going to go back to my original article. Okay, I'm going to go back to my original article and just read this one more time. I have to go soon because I have to go and do some assignments, but it all goes back to this one sentence right here. Let me right here. I'm gonna just show you. Just read this part, y'all. Read it. Black women tend to create families with Black men who do poorly on both counts and thus bring down the family income results for Black women. Point blank, period. I've showed you plenty of studies and articles. Y'all want to say I don't use studies. Y'all want to say that I don't have facts. Y'all want to say that I don't use data. The fact is Black men as a whole don't do enough for Black women and they bring Black women down. I am beseeching y'all. I am asking you Black men to step up. I beseech you. I beseech you, Black men, to step up and stop making excuses and stop telling me I'm wrong when I've just provided 6 articles and sources from highly reputable research institutes and news outlets. Sorry, I was on mute. Fighter, I'm gonna give you this. This conversation wasn't about Latinos, okay? This conversation was primarily about Black Americans. But okay, even with you saying this, Fighter, you are supporting my argument. You're supporting my argument, Fighter. You're supporting my argument. You supported my argument that Black men don't do enough for Black women. And I'm tired of people telling me I don't provide sources. I'm tired of it. That's all I do is provide sources. I know what I'm talking about. Okay? Fighter, you're supporting my argument. No woman should have to be a single mother unless that man dies. And even if that man dies, a good man, a responsible man, a smart man would set up a situation that even if he died, his family would be taken care of. Okay? That's it. That's all I'm doing. This video is to beseech Black men to step up and do better by Black women. Point blank, period. Protect Black women. Provide for Black women. Create a safe environment for Black women. Here, and thank you, Purple Lover. And this is what I'm trying to do. But as you can see, when I'm trying to do it, I'm just met with friction. I'm met with people arguing. I'm met with people denying what I'm saying is true. I'm met with people telling me I'm lying when I'm not. You know, Purple Lover says, this isn't me bashing black men. I love my black men, but the only way to solve these issues in our community is to have open communication about what's going on with us. Absolutely. 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 And this is the only way we can start the process. But even as you can see, when I start the process, you have people fighting me. You have people rejecting what I'm saying. You have people telling me that I'm lying, that I'm not producing sources. You have people telling me that what I'm saying has no backing. But all I've ever done is back everything that I presented up with data and facts. From like literally, I just pulled up something. Look, you think I'm joking. You think I'm joking. The Institute for Women's Policy Research, the Brookings Institute. The Brookings Institute. This is from the Brookings. It's here, Brookings, right here, Brookings, right here. The inheritance of Black poverty, it's all about the men. Okay, I'm not lying. Y'all want to sit here and tell me that I'm just pulling this stuff out of my behind, and I'm not. Yikes. Woo. So Joel Montez says, great, but thank you, Joel Montez. I haven't seen you around before. I hope to see you in another live. But Joel Montez says, I saw a study saying that over 80% of abandoned white single mothers, and biracial children with Black males on welfare government assistance. So I guess it's not a personal thing. I guess they're not just doing it to Black women. And this is the thing, right? I have to leave soon. I have a class. But y'all, all these Black women, all these white women bragging that they date Black men, and it's like they're getting the same treatment. A lot of them, not all of them, but a lot of them are getting the same treatment that we're getting, the same dysfunctionality that Black men produce. So it shows you that it's a Black male problem. It is not us, it's not us. If they will have children with us and then leave us and our children, a lot of them will have children with white women and leave the white women and their biracial children, right? It's a Black male problem. I don't know where it comes from, but as Black men, I urge you, I beseech you, as a Black woman who cares about Black men, I urge you and beseech you to figure out what is going on with y'all, and y'all need to work together as Black men and fix it. Because y'all creating broken families left and right. Many of you are creating broken families left and right. You're creating single mothers left and right. And it's not just the Black single. It's not, a lot of them aren't just creating Black single mothers. A lot of them are creating white single mothers, Asian single mothers. They're not marrying the women that they have children with. Miss Johnson said, girl, these dudes are gaslighting you. There's only so many times you can entertain hashtags that don't even care about themselves. Sisters need to mainly focus on themselves. I absolutely agree with you, Miss Johnson. And this is, a lot of my content on my channel is for this very reason, right? Like a lot of my content on my channel encourages Black women to just focus on themselves, right? Black women have poured so much of their time, energy, money, resources, and emotion into building up men who don't build them up, and it's a huge problem. A huge problem. And I encourage Black women to only deal with men who build them up, Don't do it. Don't entertain these men who don't build you up. It's not worth it. And a lot of them don't. A lot of them have proven that they don't. I have shown you research and data from highly respected and reputable research institutes and news outlets, and they're still not listening. They're still not listening. Like I got an article from the Brookings Institute. I got an article for the Institute of Women's Policy Research. I got an article from Ebony Magazine. I got 2 articles from Fast Company. I got an article from The Atlantic. I didn't even get into the one from Slate, but the one from Slate says the same thing. Women as primary breadwinners, Black women know all about it. This is from Slate. Okay? But anyway, I gotta go soon. Thank you, Pareto Principle, for dropping the super chats. I appreciate your donation. And we have to have more conversations like this. Klerk Trent, Shira supports protectors and providers. She only encourages us to date protectors and providers. And if a man isn't trying to be a protector and provider, but he's trying to get something from a woman, you should get something from him before there's any chance that he gets something from the woman. Absolutely. Because women are all automatically more vulnerable. And the thing is, men don't approach women unless they want something from a woman. And women are adapting and they're changing to expecting investments from men immediately. So they get like a security deposit. Like a lot of men will waste a woman's time. So you should get something in return for that. How about this? Why don't you send me some articles that go against my point? If you can find them. If you can find them, I tell everyone my Instagram handle at universe.trip. Send me the articles in. Yo, thank Joel Montez. Listen, you need to come back to my lives, man. You need to come back because nobody be listening. Nobody listens. Joel Montez says, I watch Kim 123 and they told me that a black male murders a black woman every 19 hours. Black men are the weakest link of the community. They are the weakest link. Point blank, period. Listen, you've presented counterpoints and I've counted every single point that you have made. You haven't made any, all the points that you mentioned were included into the background of the argument, of the premise of the video. I've acknowledged oppression. I've acknowledged slavery. I've acknowledged that legacy. But you have yet to answer my question that if black women are able to thrive despite the oppression of sexism and racism, why can't black men? Joel Montez says, so Joel Montez is in the UK. So he says a lot of the biracial children abandoned by black males are in foster care. No, there's something black men really need to, as a black woman who cares about black men really need to sit down and do some self-reflection to figure out what exactly is happening, because the dysfunction isn't just in America. Even though I'm American, I'm a black American, this is the context that I am most familiar with. I've noticed that there is a larger problem, and it's transnational. Oh yeah. Purple Lover says daughter is still upset over black woman activist who was murdered by her black boyfriend, if I recall correctly. There was this one famous activist, Black Lives, she was supporting black men. She was supporting black men. Really, she was an active part of the Black Lives Matter movement. And this woman was raped and killed by a black man. And you're just like, why do black men act like this? Like, why would you rape and kill someone who is fighting for mainly black male lives? Because Black Lives Matter isn't as inclusive as it needs to be. It doesn't really fight for black female lives. So Joel Montez says, no, it is not proximity. You're lying. Black women are murdered at 3 times the rate as white women. Yeah. No, Joel Montez, these men are trolls. So just leave them alone. They don't want to accept accountability. They don't want to protect black women. If Zella TV really cared about the black community, he would be like, what do I have to do to protect black women so this doesn't happen? But no, he's making an excuse for it, right? He's saying, oh, it's just proximity, right? Here's the thing, Klerk Trent. Answer the question. You still not answering the question. You're talking about we were made. The system became your husband. That's not true. That is not true. Black women were not excelling on welfare. See, what you're doing is you're conflating excelling and moving up the socioeconomic ladder to just depending on welfare. I'm not talking about Black women who depend on welfare. I'm talking about Black women who are starting businesses despite all the sexism and racism they go through. Black women who are starting movements and initiatives. Black women who are moving up and getting educated. If Black women can do this, why can't Black men? And this has nothing to do with welfare. Certain Exposure says something I've never investigated is the actual percentage of Black men married by educational financial status and how that compares to similarly achieving Black women. If you look it up, you will find that Black men who tend to be at the higher income earning range, a lot of times they will marry outside of the Black community. A lot of times they will marry non-Black women. They have a higher percentage of interracial marriages than Black women at similar educational and career achievement levels. Okay, cool. I'll tell you. Zella TV, what is the solution? The solution is for Black men to step up and work on themselves. That's it. That's the solution. Really, Black men need to just like all of y'all need to get together and talk to each other. This is me urging y'all to do this, but until y'all get together as a group and start to like Black women get together as groups and we're looking at each other like, okay, what can we do to improve ourselves? Literally, we do this in groups, in person. We're like, okay, so I'm gonna help you. Like I have done so much to help my fellow Black women. Like I have a Black colleague, so I'm in a graduate school program, right? I helped her win a fellowship, which is kind of like a scholarship on the graduate school level for $250,000. I sat down and I helped her identify what she needed to do to get that fellowship. So that's me helping another Black woman. We look at each other and we're like, yo, okay, what can we do to get better? What can we do to win out here? Until Black men get together and look at their problems and look at the dysfunction they cause. Honestly, y'all need to get together and be like, what can we do to stop creating single mothers? What can we do to get together and start creating Black businesses so we don't have to depend on jobs from people who oppress us? What can we do? What can we do to get access to therapy that will heal the trauma, post-traumatic slave syndrome, which is real? Black women already do this. What can we do? Black men need to get together and be like, what can we do to stop creating single mothers? What can we do to pick the women that we actually want to marry? What can we do to make sure we don't have children out of wedlock? So Klerk Trent says we do that. Then where's the result? It's not working. If you do that, it's not working. It's not working. It's not working. Because if it was working, things would change. Things would have changed by now. It's not working. So you need to do a better job of that. Purple Lover 77 says, right now I'm in the process of getting my online business off the ground. Great, girl. And there's a lot of Black women out here helping other Black women do that. But anyway, I gotta go. Thanks for coming through. If Pareto Principle is still here, thanks for the super chats. Even though they were sketchy. What else? Anyway, I'll talk to you lovely people later. Bye.